What up, what up? Okay, so today I actually wanted to invite one of my guy friends to do like a live podcast, talking about love, sex, and everything that involves that subject or that. We're gonna make it happen. But for now, let me just do like a short summary of my so-called love life. And I'm saying so-called because it's literally the tela in novella. It makes little to no sense. Do you understand? I can assume that this might be entertaining for common folks or whatever. I don't know. Okay, so a little background story. What is love? Because everybody have different definitions of love and different blueprints and what you have been seeing growing up, experiencing, and just my blueprint was an absent father, an abusive father, and just messy in all types of forms and shapes, and do you understand? And to add some icing on that cake, growing up with my auntie and seeing her having different men because she was in different relationships, and seeing some of these men being very abusive towards her, hearing stories that she shared that when she was pregnant with one of my cousins, his father actually locked her up in the basement. Do you understand? Like that kind of abusive. So this is the kind of men that I have seen in my so-called sphere or whatever growing up, Like I seen loving men too. Like I said, my mom was married to a Latin American man and he took the stepfather role. Like I have so many great memories. Like he stepped up. He really stepped up. So, I mean, I seen a little glimpse of how it could be when a man loves you right and really appreciates you. But I also seen when a man doesn't respect you and is just, just messy, all around just messy. By me seeing this growing up, all kinds of different forms of relationships, good and bad, have this somehow affected my love life, my way of thinking, my way of acting when I'm dating? Of course. I'm gonna try to be introspective when I do this video, okay? Let me just say, like, it has affected me because, like I said in another video, sometimes when you grow up with people that are so, let's just say you grow up with people that you don't want to be like, these people are not role models in any shape or form. You don't want to end up like them. You become the opposite. You do literally everything down to the nitty gritty. Like, I don't want to end up like these women or these men or whatever. Do you understand? So sometimes it goes too far. So it goes so far that you start developing your own problems and issues that they didn't have, but you have now. Do you understand? Because you are trying to do everything just to like stay off that lane. I don't know how to really explain that, but I'm just saying that, okay, so concretely how this has affected me, it made me a little bit cynical when it comes to love. It made me a little bit cynical because I saw love as something transactional, You give something, you get something back. Do you understand? Like, it's not really from a place of, I want to do this because I care for you, I love you, I cherish you. Like, it's always connected to something. I want something out of this or I want something out of you. Do you understand? But it also made me to become a little bit of a pushover. Do you understand? Like the women in my family, like the way that they spoke to men, like I'm telling you, because they were the breadwinners, most of them. So when you step up to that role, ain't nobody can tell you shit, kind of. Do you understand? So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna be that messy, because some of the guys that these people met was good guys. From my point of view, I don't know the full story, because I wasn't in the relationship, but I'm just saying. So for me, that's how I became the opposite. I became like a people pleaser, like a pushover, a doormat, you can say. Like I tolerated more shit in the name of that I didn't want to end up lonely. I didn't want to end up like them. Do you understand? So I was like, okay, sometimes you just have to see between the fingers. You have to shut your mouth. Do you understand? So if I'm gonna start talking about my early love life, like let's go back to like, how old was I? I think I was like 9 years old or something. The first crush that I ever had was on a guy, a Swedish guy actually. I remember his name, but I'm not gonna put it out here, you know? I remember everything. So I think the reason why I had a crush on this guy was because like back in the early 90s, you had Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, you know, these boy bands. He basically looked like them, you know, the haircut and everything, you know? So that was my first crush, and that ended up catastrophical. I have one little story to share when it comes to that. My second crush, or early crush, was a Latin American guy, or Latino. His name was Piero, I remember. I think he was from Chile, but he was a dark Chilean, or whatever you say, you know? He had dark hair, dark eyes. He looked very native, indigenous. Do you understand? He, like, nothing about him looked European. He was, yeah. And I was so infatuated with this guy. He was also a few years older than me. I think back then, I think I was like 12. He must have been like 15 or something like that. And I was just like, every time he came, I was looking at him, you know, I was like, oh God, he looks so good. But I'm like, I can't say anything. I can't do anything, you know, yeah. So anyhow, growing up, I was always considered the so-called funny friend, the goofy friend. So when my friend started to date, I was actually, it sounds sad, but it wasn't. It was literally like, okay, so my friends was like, okay, can you go with me? Like, I'm gonna meet this guy, you know, and I'm nervous. So can you come and be the so-called icebreaker, you know? And I go with them and I'm joking around, both of them are laughing, it's all Gucci. And when they start to feel more comfortable with each other, then she give me the look like, okay, you can go now, thank you, you know? And I leave them alone. Basically, that was my job, you know, at the early stage. When I started to understand that, oh, okay, so now you are considered one of the so-called pretty ones or desirable ones, or, you know, like somebody that we can see more than just like a friend, a girlfriend, or do you understand? That was like early, I think it was in high school. Yeah, it was in high school this started. And yeah, everything changed from there. Yes, I keep saying that, you know, your family, your relatives, like how you grew up is affecting your love life. But what also affects your love life, it's your friends groups. They have different dynamics. So for me, like I said, I grew up in the system. You know, I had a few years with my mother, a few years with my aunt, and then I ended up in the system before I could take care of myself, basically. So my friend group was high and low. I'm telling you, I had friends from juvie, normal friends that had a normal upbringing from high school, and it was different kinds of groups that I had. And I adapted quite well to the different groups. So the first group, like I said, was like friends from juvie. Like all of them had somewhat similar backgrounds, you know, like one of the parents are missing, they don't have any contact with their relatives. Like the household is just like, it's not your typical household, you know, like they grew up very fast. So most of these girls, it was some guys too, but mostly girls, they smoked, they drank, they partied. Most of them had lost their virginity even before the age of 15. Yeah, I remember when I hanged out with these girls, I was a late bloomer to be in that group. Because like I said, most of these people, they already was having their fifth boyfriends, and they partied every weekends, and you know, like it was messy, you know. So I remember like I had my first official kiss when I was 14 years old. It was at a home party. One of my friends, her mother she was traveling a lot. She loved the cruise, you know. She went on the boats and she was partying there. So she left the apartment to her daughter. And by then, like all of us was in the age of like 13 to I think 16 or something like that, you know, 13 to 16. And yeah, so I remember that I was 14 and I got invited to this home party, and it was a guy there, he was my age, And yeah, so I had my first kiss, and I remember like I was a little bit of a germophobia already back then, and I was like, oh, you know, because it was just like too much tongue, too much, it was unpleasant, let's just say that, okay? I said this in another video that I lost my virginity when I was 16, like about to be 16. And I don't know how it is in other countries and, you know, all of this, but I just know like here in Sweden, Scandinavia, they have a law, and that means that when you are 15 years old, you are legally allowed to have intercourse, to have sex. It was a guy from, I don't know how to say this in English, Macedonia, I think it's called Macedonia, yes. And he was about twice my age, something like that, twice my age, and he lived a little bit outside. Like, I could give details. I remember his name. His name was it's a typical Macedonian name, but it's female, you know, like when you hear the name, you're like, what? You know, or when you see the name, you think that it's a female, but it's actually a man, typical Macedonian male name or something like that. So anyhow, back in my time, like I said, social media and all of this stuff started with us millennials. So we had something called Lunarstorm, Nattstad, you know, it was basically like a mixture of Tumblr and Facebook and Instagram all in one. You know, you had pictures, you spoke to people, body. That's it. So I remember that he obviously wrote to me and I wrote back. And this was like in the beginning stage. Like I said, I didn't start to get recognition that I was beautiful, desirable, or anything like that until I started high school. Do you understand? So this guy, he kept on just giving me compliments. You're so beautiful. I want to meet you. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, like, I don't know. So we spoke for a while. And I remember that he actually drove to my city. Like, he lived almost like, was it 2 hours from my city or something like that? So he drove to my city and he came with a friend. So he was like, do you have a friend to my friend? And I was living in juvie. Like, this was like, it was open, this juvie, you know, so you could go out, you can basically have a normal life, you know, but you still had controlled, you know, you had staff basically controlling a lot of your surrounding and everything that you did and so on and so forth. So anyhow, he came with a friend, and yeah, that girl that I lived with, she was my age. Yeah. And this was, yeah, so this is how I lost my virginity. And before anybody starts saying anything, because I have seen some of the discussions online, people going back and forth, you need to understand that this was in the early 2000s, okay? This was in the early 2000s, and the mindsets of people was different back then. Do you understand? Like, stuff that is inappropriate right now and seen and deemed as, oh, this is awful, this is that. Back in that time, people didn't think like that about most of this stuff, you know? People are always evolving, or whatever you want to call it. Stuff is changing, basically. So it's not to defend these guys in any shape or form. I'm just saying that I don't think that they thought that they were doing something bad. Do you understand? And why am I saying it? Because it wasn't like these guys was trying to sneak with this. Like, we spoke openly on this app, you know, this website. And they came, like I said, they drove from their city. It's almost like 2 hours, 2-3 hours from my city. They drove from their city to come to my city. And it was during the day, we were out and about, it was people around us and everything like that. And you could clearly see, you know, like, I have never looked my age. When I was that age, I looked older. When I'm this age, I look younger. I never looked my age, you know? But whatever. But I'm just saying that I don't think that these guys was thinking that they were doing something bad, that this was considered low life or anything like that, you know, because they were out and about, like I said, broad daylight, meeting 2 15 16 years olds. Do you understand? And I remember that it wasn't pleasant, like I said in another video. It wasn't pleasant because I wasn't in love with that guy. Like, I thought that he looked good, of course. I thought so, but I wasn't in love with him, and I just had this in my mind, in my head, like how I wanted it to be. Do you understand? Like, I don't know. I didn't want it to lose it too late, but I didn't want it to lose it just like that either. I wanted to be special, if I'm gonna be honest. I really did, but it is what it is, okay? So anyhow, these so-called troubling friends, or whatever you may call it, that I had, like I said, if I lost my virginity when I was 16, these girls lost their virginities long before that. We used to go on parties. I don't know if you guys have seen, there's a movie called 13, American movie that calls 13. I think it came out when I was about 13 years old. And you can see how these two girls are trying to maneuver being like young adults, or they are stepping into the young adult world a little bit too early and just messing, you know? It is a movie, but I'm telling you, in reality, that shit exists, and even worse. Do you understand? I know it firsthand. So I'm just saying, we had parties like, oh God, like it was older men that had parties. They had their own apartment, of course, and they had alcohol and all of this stuff. And we came there and we drank the alcohol. None of us had any intention of doing anything with these men because they were like the age of our fathers, sometimes even older. Do you understand? And I never did anything with anybody like that. I just, and then we went to the next party or whatever. But I remember that eventually I was like, why would these men like just invite a bunch of young girls to their home, let them drink for free like that? And like, what? You know, like, because I'm used to that, like nothing in this world is free. So I started to understand that each and every time we were at these parties, at least one of these girls got so-called sacrificed to these men, you know? And I'm just like, oof. So the second group of friends that I had, this was like childhood friends. This is people that I had known since we started like fucking preschool almost, you know? And I had contact with them up to like mid-20s or something like that. So these girls, I'm so happy that I had these girls in my life because they so-called balanced all of this fuck shit out, you know? Because I had the juvie friends, good-hearted girls, all of this stuff, just unfortunate family home situation. But these other girls that I grew up with, because of them, I still aspired to have a normal life. I still aspired to have normal relationships because this was what they were aspiring. Do you understand? This was what was normal in their setting. So when I was with them, I was like, oh, so it is normal to meet a guy, talk to him for a few months and take it slow and all of this stuff before jumping into a relationship and all of this stuff. The other group, not so much. You meet somebody the same night, bam, chicken, wow, wow. Do you understand? So I got to see both sides of how a teenager, young adult's life could be, basically. I said the first time that I went to a nightclub, and I'm talking about like a real nightclub, not home party. I was at the age of 16 or something like that, and my friend was 2 years older than me, so she was 18, and I borrowed her ID to go into this nightclub. And I'm telling you, like, I wasn't the only one. It was a lot of girls my age doing the same thing. You know, we were at the clubs way before our age. Some of these guards, they knew. They just didn't give a fuck. They knew that we were underage, but they still like, welcome in, come in. I still had a type. I really did have a type. So my type was, everybody know Chris Brown. You know, Chris Brown was very popular when I was a teenager. And I remember that was my type. I was like, he looked so good. If I met a guy that looked like him, you know. But anyhow, I actually met a guy when I was about 17. I met a guy, he was 1 year older than me, and he looked like Chris Brown. He looked like Chris Brown. I keep saying that he was from East Africa, Mozambique, but this guy was actually biracial. But he was one of those biracial that was so much in his Africanism, like he knew his culture, his language, his friends group was very diverse, and He traveled back home a lot. So it was like dating a black guy. Do you understand? It wasn't anything, you know, like that. He and I started to date. And when I say date, I mean like date. I remember one of our first dates. It was actually, because I had my own apartment then. He came to my place, and I remember that I cooked him food. Little 17-year-old me, like it was a bag of chicken that is like, it's already seasoned and everything. You just put it in the oven, wait for like 40 minutes, and then you do the same with the potatoes, and then it's done. And we were sitting there just eating and all of this stuff, you know, like when he graduated high school, I remember that I came to his graduation, we went to the party together. Like some of the friends that I had back in that time, he actually knew them before he knew me. Do you understand? So yeah, no, but I remember when I met him, I was like, wow, So when I lost my virginity, like I said, at 16, it was horrible. But so I waited like a good 1.5, almost 2 years, you know? And when I met this Chris Brown lookalike, that's when I was like, this is officially when I lost my virginity. I was like, because I didn't even want to count the first time, you know, because I was like, it was that, you know. But I'm gonna tell you, it's so cute. So when I met this guy, it was actually like, we had like a barbecue, you know, we drove up. I don't know who, but one of his friends must have had like a driver's license car already, you know. But anyhow, so it was like at the top of the mountain, you know, when you are up there, you can see the whole city, you know, very beautiful. It was a lot of people just hanging out there, you know, smoking weed, relaxing, all of this. So I remember that we had like a barbecue. We took a lot of foods and drinks and everything with us. He had his friends, I think they were like 6 of them, 6 or 7. And I was with my friends group, and this was people from when I was dancing. So this was that kind of group. And yeah, it was one of the girls that invited me, you know. So we went up, and the thing is like, he didn't smoke marijuana. I didn't smoke marijuana either. But all of the other ones was doing it, you know. So we were up there, and people were high as a fucking kite. Nobody could talk. Eventually, they were just sitting there and just like, you know. And he was trying to be social. I remember he was asking like everybody in my group, you know, like, where do you guys come from? You know, where do you live? And he was trying to be like social, and nobody answered him, poor thing. And I felt so bad for him, so I answered. I was like, okay, so this one, she's from this country, she's this old, this one, da 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 da. And he was like, oh, okay. So he and I started to talk. So that was the first official time that we met, I remember. And yeah, so there on out, I think he and I back and forth. We were never officially girlfriend and boyfriend, never. But we basically did everything that, you know, that a boyfriend, girlfriend does. Do you understand? But didn't have any title like that. It was so weird. The whole union was very weird because, like I will say, like this guy was the first guy that started to shape how I behave and look at relationships and just overall act, you know? Because I remember that he had an ex-girlfriend, and she was from Tanzania. Yeah, I remember, bro, my memory is so good. She was from Tanzania, and we went to the same dance school. And she was a year older than me or something, maybe even 2 years older than me. And she was one of these good dancers. They have their own groups. They were traveling to United States and having competitions and, you know, joining competitions and all of this stuff, you know? So I remember that I looked up to this girl, you know, I looked up to that group, like this was the it girls, do you understand? They had the swag, the fashion, the everything, you know, the group, the whatever. And yeah, so I remember that he said that, yeah, that's my ex. Like, and I was like, what? Ex? And I had so much respect for this girl, you know, I'm not kidding with you. Like all of us was a little bit scared of her even, because she had a lot of, when she stepped into a room, oh God, I don't know. So I remember that when he and I started to talk, he went back and forth with her. Unfortunately, he went back and forth with her. And at one point, this was a specific, like, I was about to go to the beach. This was summertime. I was about to go to the beach to meet my friends. And my friends was already at the beach. And I was on my way down. Like, you needed to go downhill to come to the beach. And one of my friends called me and said, you know what, when you come down, don't look at your right side. And I'm like, why? Don't look at your right side, okay? I'm just saying, don't look at your right side. And I'm coming down and I see that he's there. Because the thing is, like, he told me before, like, I'm gonna meet some old friends and all of this stuff. And, you know, I was like, do you, boo, do you? And he had his ex was sitting on his lap with a bikini and everything, and everybody was laughing and having fun and joking around. And as soon as he saw me coming, he threw her from his leg and was standing up and started to like, hey, wait. And I was like, no, boo, do you, go back to her, you know? I didn't talk to him. I remember, like, we were at the beach, like, I don't know for how many hours, and he, no. So this was one of the first time that I felt like, damn, like you, like a guy putting you next to an ex, you know, like the relationship is over, but it's not really over like that, you know, and you have to feel this so-called competition, you know, like, is he gonna go back to her? Is he still yawning after her? Like, do you understand? This was one of the first official times. And it's so weird because, like I said, we didn't have a title, he and I. You know, we didn't claim each other like that, but it was like some unspoken rules. It feels like both of us kind of knew about. So let me give another example. I went to a home party. This was a little bit outside my city. I went to a home party and he called me. And I remember that one of the guys at the party, this guy, I didn't even know him. We barely spoke at the party. But he was just joking around, being messy. He took my phone and he answered and he said, yeah, is her boyfriend here? Who is it? And I remember that the guy that I went out with, he got so frustrated. He was like, give her her phone, huh? What are you doing? Why are you taking her phone? Give her her phone. Who are you? Da-da-da-da. And they were both going back and forth. And I took the phone and he was like, who was that? You know, like he was upset over that a random guy took his phone claiming that he was my so-called boyfriend. And I was just like, wait. Okay, so you don't want to claim me officially. Like, I'm not your girlfriend like that. But when somebody makes a little joke like this, you're getting upset. So how do you think that I felt when you had your ex sitting with a fucking bikini on your lap? Do you understand? I'm just saying, it was very hypocritical back in that time. But yeah, I must still say that he was, despite that, he was a gentleman. You know, he was one of the first guys that really made me feel like I was beautiful, desirable, and, you know, like wanted to be seen with you and just like was out and about. I don't know how to explain it because, like, for you girls that are born in the 90s, early 90s, you remember that back in the days, like, black girls was not that popular, you know, like, especially here in Europe. I don't know how it is in other countries, but Latinas was the shit. Like, everybody, you know, the music, it was reggaeton and all of this. So everybody wanted themselves a Latina, a Eva Mendes. Do you understand? So being a black woman, not resembling that. So it was either like a Latina or a Paris Hilton. That was what was trending back then. Do you understand? So I remember that meeting this guy. He was so, like I said, you know, you beautiful, you this, you that, you know, just like, I don't know, bro. He was gassing me up. And the thing is, like, at the same time that I met him, I went to high school, like I said. We had another guy, biracial also, and he was, his father was from America, so he was Afro-American and something else. And I remember that he was so in tune with his African-American side, even though he lived there. He was like, you know, the fashion, the way he was talking and all of this. He was smoking weed and barely came to school. When he came, it was just a few hours and then left, you know. And I was just like, man, it was something like, I was immature, but I was like, oh my God, look at this guy, you know. So we started to talk. I don't know how, because I'm not the first one taking the first step, you know, but we started to talk, we started to hang out and all of this stuff. And I remember that I actually started to fall for this guy, you know. And the thing is, like, so if you would say that I ever cheated on anybody, because I haven't cheated on anybody, but if you would say, that would be the time then. Because I was like already meeting this guy from Mozambique. and we was not exclusive or anything like that, you know, but we kind of knew that it was something going on, you know. And then at the same time, this guy is showing interest, and I'm just like, oh, you know, like I wasn't used to attention like that. And now all of a sudden, like I'm getting attention from people that I actually do fancy, that I am attracted to, you know. I was just like, oh God, what am I gonna do? But yeah, that shit didn't end up good either, because that guy actually ended up having sex with one of my friends. Yeah, like this is story of my life, if I'm gonna be honest. The first guy, like I said, the guy from Mozambique, he ended up being in a relationship, a 2-year relationship with one of my closest friends that was from Kenya. And when I say closest friend, I mean that she slept in my place. We partied together. We did a lot of stuff together, you know? Like we were that close at one point. And she knew that he and I went out and all of this stuff, you know? So she and I had a little altercation or something, and all of a sudden, I don't know, they started to date. And behind my back, of course. It took me 1.5 years to get the information that they even dated, because people around us was hiding it so well, you know. And I remember when I got the information, I was not so upset with that they were dating like that. I was more upset over that I had people around me that knew about it, but nobody told me. Do you understand? And I felt like, I think from there on out, I was very determined to be like, you know what? Nobody's ever gonna make me look like an ass anymore. So I became like an investigator almost. Like if I met somebody, like I wanted to know what is happening, what's going on, who are you seeing now? Why are you liking this person's pictures, you know? Especially when you see that the red flags from the beginning is gonna be major, like, major flags in the end. You see that it's connected. You start to be like, you know what, early, I need to see, you know, I need to watch out. So one of the reasons why I speak highly of this first guy, even though he ended up dating one of my friends, was because like everything wasn't just sexual when it came to him. Do you understand? Like I remember a specific time when he came to my apartment and we slept. And when I say slept, I mean like we that's like we were watching a movie or something like that, just chilling, and it was like broad daylight, you know. And I was laying down, he was laying like his head on my belly or whatever, and we both of us just slept. I don't know for how many hours, you know. We just like, we didn't, I don't know how to explain it, but you know, like for that age, for that time, that era, you know, it was very like to find somebody that wasn't just after you for sex or anything like that, just somebody that just vibes with you. Do you understand? Like this guy wrote me poems. Do you understand? Like he wrote me poems and all of this stuff. He drove up to my school and was just sitting there, just waiting on me to come out on recess. And I'm telling you, like, I met this guy actually, like, how many years ago? Was it like 3 or 4 years ago? Something like, he still looks good. He still looks good. And I don't know if he's trying to be nice or whatever, but according to him, he's not in a relationship. He's not married. He's not any of this stuff. But I was just like, you know what? Let's just, you know, it is what it is. So I would say, being like introspective and a little bit older now, going back and seeing why none of my so-called potential relationships or situationships ever went further, you know, into something serious, like being a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, whatnot. One of the reasons is that I was too shy. Like, I don't want to be begging and asking. Do you understand? So most of the time it was like I could meet somebody. I remember like the so-called longest relationship or whatever you would say that I had, it was actually with a guy that it was almost like 2.5 years. 2.5, almost, yeah, 2.5, almost 3 years or something that we met. And we did everything like you can expect that people do, you know? But we didn't have the title. Do you understand? And it was mostly because like, I feel like the friends that I had, the girlfriends that I had, they were direct. When they met a guy, after a certain time or something, they popped the question, like, what are we? You know? And eventually, like, the guy give in or something, and he's like, yeah, we doing this, we doing that, you met this, you met that, so yeah, we are in a relationship. But me, like, I felt like I wanted the guy to confirm that. I didn't want to be thirsty like that. Do you understand? So they basically got, how do you say? They got the relationship benefit without having to actually be in a relationship. That's one of the major signs, major reasons why I am at the age of 33 and I can say that I never had a boyfriend. And it's not because because I have dated, I have met people, we have gone so far that I have met their family members and everything. Like, we have done everything that you would consider people in a relationship doing, but it's just that I never got the title. And the reason is, like I said, shyness. Like, I was too shy. I didn't want to come off like thirsty or begging or anything like that. I wanted to flow, you know? I would say that we millennials, we actually killed the concept of love and relationships. Because I don't know how the new generation are, but I feel like I hear more often, like, younger people, like, they get engaged very quick. It's almost like they skip the boyfriend and girlfriend phase and just skip to, you know, moving in together and all of this stuff. And I know that it's a little bit different from where you live in the world and all of this. I live in a Western world, Western society. And here is very common that people they can, I don't know how to say this in English, but basically sambo, like, they live together for many years, sometimes even decades. And they don't get married or anything like that. They have children, they have everything, but it's something with titles. Like, people are allergic to titles. Do you understand? So they will do everything that a husband and wife does and all of this stuff, but they don't want that, you know? As soon as they get that, all of a sudden everything starts to crumble somehow. I don't know. But I'm just saying, millennials, I feel like we actually we killed the whole concept of love and relationship. Because people were looser than a fucking goose back then. Like, it was so common that somebody met somebody at the club, first night, they hit it down. Do you understand? And I mean, guys back in my time, they didn't have to do a lot of work to get it. Let's just say that. They didn't. They just basically had to show up and show out, and that's it. Guys nowadays, you need to read all these self-help books and all of these and debunk the female brain and whatever. I'm telling you, back then, from what I seen and experienced myself, I'm telling you, they didn't have to do a lot of work. Yeah. My loveless love life. No, it's not a pity party. It's not a mini violin moment, but I'm just saying, like, I did have my fair share of hookups. I did. And I know that if I have friends and acquaintances from back in the days talking, you know, they will probably talk shit. But just remember, like, whatever they say about me, they were that person too. Sometimes they were the blueprint. Do you understand? Like, I wouldn't have been introduced to any of this fuck shit if it wasn't because of them. And now they're gonna sit back and be like, no, I was at the same party. I know these people, but me, I'm a saint. I never did anything. Don't listen to them, okay? Everybody was messed up, fucked up, all of this stuff back in the day, so. I had people trying to pursue you. They did everything. They did everything to get into your pants. Do you understand? Or skirt. They did everything. But they were very fast to try to humble you. Do you understand? So when I'm talking about my love life and dating and all of this stuff, like, we have to talk a little bit about colorism. We have to talk about racism and all of this stuff, because all of it, you know, it is there. Believe it or not, it is there. And I, as a black girl, experienced this, like I said, very early on. Like, it was not popular back then to date a black girl. Like, I have so many stories to share, but if I'm gonna share all of them here, it's gonna take like 2 hours or something. So let me just give like a small one. So, it was a guy that I met. He was Eastern European. I don't discriminate, or I didn't discriminate like that. He was Eastern European, and I remember that he was not even one of the finest ones either, you know, but he was hiding. Do you understand? When we were supposed to meet up, like, he was like, you know, like, where are you? Oh, okay. You know, he couldn't even come down and meet me halfway, like, because he was so ashamed that, oh, I don't want anybody to see that I'm meeting you or hooking up with you or anything like that. Do you understand? And I remember that feeling. I was like, wow, are you kidding me? Like, because I was looking at him and I was like, bruv, you're not even a 5. You're not even a 5. I'm doing you a favor right now. And you're gonna hide? You know, like, you don't want to be seen with me. I remember, like, after that, my standard changed a lot, because I was like, are you kidding me? Huh? No. And I had another guy that said that I wasn't all that in a bag of chips. That's exactly, even in English, that's exactly what he said. You ain't all that in a bag of chips. And I had to, like, ask one of my Somali friends. I was like, what is he trying to say with this? Because, like, I'm not from the States like that. I don't know, like, what is he talking about? And she's like, yeah, no, he's just basically trying to humble you, say that, you know, don't think that you all that, that you fine, that you this and that. And I was like, why would somebody say that? I'm telling you, colorism and racism when it comes to love and dating is a big thing. And I'm talking about my European experience here. I don't know how it is in the States, but I'm telling you, like, I've seen so many people on TikTok and whatever talking about that black men over here, like brown and black men over here, like they don't want to go after their own people, their own whatever. Do you understand? They just want anything else, so-called exotic, different from them. And it's like, it's nothing bad with that. Do you understand? If that's your type, that's your type. But you gotta debunk yourself eventually and be like, why am I having this type? Because I know that I started to notice, like, most of the guys that I went out with, you could basically put them in a straight line and you would be like, man, these people look like they could be brothers or cousins or something, because they aesthetically look the same, more or less. Do you understand? And it was like this brown skin, light skin guys. You know, if I ever dated, because I have dated some white guys, if I ever dated a white guy, I will tell you that it was these white guys that is like racially ambiguous, or whatever you would say, you know. Like, I will show a picture of a model here. So basically, like, when you look at these people, you a little bit like, it gotta be some black in you somewhere, you know, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, something like that. It gotta be something, you know. This was the type of white guys, so I had my type, and I was debunking myself, like, why am I, like, you know, because I can't find other people, other ethnicities beautiful and all of these attractive as well. I can. But I'm always kind of leaning more to this. Why? And I'm like, okay, it's the way that I was raised. Okay, I had a very colorist auntie. Most of my cousins, if not all of them, was biracial in some shape or form. And I remember hearing stuff. She was saying stuff like, you know, you guys are the, like, epitome of beauty. Do you understand? Everybody want to be you. White people, they go and sunbathe and tan just to get your color. And black people, they wear creams and bleach themselves just to get your color. And you guys got that color for free, you know? She was bombarding them with compliments about that. And I'm standing there like, okay, of course you can give them compliments, but you kind of hear what she's not saying as well. And you see what she's doing and you're just like, wow. Do you understand? So I grew up with that. I grew up with her saying stuff like, if you're gonna bring back a black man to this household, we might as well just send you back to Africa. You know, she was like, don't date black men. Black men are this, black men are that, da, 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 da. And I was just like, okay, this is double standard, because the guys that have beat your ass, locked your ass in a basement when you were pregnant, try to make you consider abortion because they didn't want any biracial kids. This was not black men, this was white European men. But she didn't say anything about them. Do you understand? So I feel like I became the opposite. I was like, okay, so they don't want me to date black men. They want me to date white men. So I ended up being in the middle, being like, fuck you, I'm gonna choose this. Do you understand? Yeah, so speaking about racism, I remember that I had a friends group in my teens, and this was one of the first group of friends, like all of us was black. Yeah? You know, like living here in Europe, you are often the token black person, the token brown person in a friends group, you know? Everybody else is looking kind of the same, have the same aesthetic and everything, and you stick out, you know, because it's not many of you or whatever. But so, you know, and that comes with some goods and bads and just feeling like the other all the time. So it was nice at one point to actually have a friends group where all of us was African. We had two girls from Kenya, we had one from Angola, one was Brazilian, the other one was half Portuguese, half Angolan, we had Gambian. Like, I'm telling you, like, the friends group was diverse, black but diverse. And we started to go out and party and all of this stuff. And the fun part was that all of us had different types. I remember that one of the Kenyan girls that actually ended up dating the guy that I dated, but whatever. She had her type. She was very proud. She was always talking about, I'm Kikuyu, I'm proud, I'm Kenyan, you know? And she was basically Pan-African before Pan-Africanism became mainstream. Do you understand? So she was like, she wanted her men, guys, black as the night. Do you understand? That was her type. And you had the other Kenyan girl that liked white guys. And then you had the Gambian girl that was more into, what was it? Eastern European men, Baltic men. Do you understand? Everybody had their type. Do you understand? So it was, most of the time when we went out, we never clashed. Because whenever somebody came up with like, oh, look at this guy, the rest of the group was like, oh, no. Do you understand? So yeah, I remember that we went out, like one of my friends, the Gambian one, she actually forced me to go to, because you know, every ethnicity, they have their own nightclubs. And so she forced me to go to an Eastern European nightclub. And as soon as we stepped in, we didn't even have the chance to take off our coats. People were starting to do monkey sounds, ooh, ooh, ah, 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 you know, and just like mocking us and all of this stuff. And I remember that I got so furious. So I told this girl, I was like, you are the one that want to go to this club, not me. I'm not attracted to these people. Do you understand? You are. So you're gonna pay for my entrance. I'm not gonna pay to come here and be harassed and mocked. Are you kidding me? So she paid my entrance. We stayed, I think less than an hour, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, I'm gonna be honest, I've seen a lot of black people on social media talking about, you know, white people, they don't know the difference, you know, like if you are light skinned or black, yeah, biracial or not, they see everybody as a nigger, as the N-word basically. And it's like, no, you guys would be shocked. These people, especially the new generation, they know. I'm gonna give you like a small example. Like lately, not so long ago, I studied a program, 1.5 years. And I remember one of the white guys, one of the Swedish guys, he, like, you just know by now, you know, he was starting to fancy me, you know? And instead of just saying that directly himself, I had other classmates coming up talking about, oh, so I saw that you were talking with him, like, you know, like they was trying to make something out of nothing, you know, because I wasn't attracted to him. I wasn't feeling him whatsoever like that. He was just a random classmate. But yeah, so I remember that we had each other on social media, and he wrote to me on Instagram, and he was talking about, you know, that he liked biracial girls or something like that, you know? Like, I think like Alicia Keys, he said, is my type or something like that. Like, and we didn't even, like, this was just randomly. We started to talk about food because I posted like some kind of something, you know? I posted some food content and he commented on that, and all of a sudden he started to talk about that his type was biracial girls, especially like girls like Alicia Keys, and started to go into like colorism and all of this stuff. And I was just like, what? Why are you telling me this? Huh? Why are you telling me this, bruh? So I said, boo, it's all good if that's your type. You allowed to have your type. You're not my type either. I like my man chocolatey. Do you understand? I like my man with a little bit melanin, but it is what it is. But I just feel like when it came to that comment, that has happened to me a lot. And I think other people, it has happened to you guys as well, especially when you were younger. I don't think like people this age does that as much, except him. You know, that they will try to like, you know, to try to break you down to build you up or whatever. I don't know. It's some kind of tactic, you know? But I don't know, they will talk about that everybody else is their type and I fancy this and I like this and na. But they will still be up in your face doing all of this stuff, asking you to come to events and asking people to ask stuff about you and just being like, you know that they are interested in some shape or form. But they just want to be like, you ain't all that like that, you know? Like I'm lowering my standards if I'm going with you. And it's like, boo, don't lower, huh? You don't have to. Because I'm not even gonna meet you halfway. So. Oh, these people, they know. What would you say? In my early, almost mid-20s, I was like, you know what? I've been introspective enough and I realized that, you know, my type is not gonna step up to the role that I need them to, you know, because I am a one-person, you know, like I want a relationship. And I think like if I early on got into a relationship, like the first guy that I met, if we went exclusive, I'm telling you, like this is the same guy, like I would have probably stuck with him up to today. Like this is the type of person that I am, because I'm so sick and tired of having to reshare my favorite color, my favorite this, my brother's name and this and that, and like I'm just done with it. I just want to meet somebody and then partner up and just live happily ever after. That's what I want and always wanted. But somehow that's what you don't get, you know? So anyways, in my so-called mid-early 20s, I decided like, no, I need to branch out. You know, I need to give other people a shot or whatever. So I have dated, like I said, the guy that took my virginity when I was about 16 was from Macedonia. And then I have dated Latinos, a guy that was Cuban and another guy that was from Chile. Because yeah, this was initially my type, you know, but you don't have a lot of them here. So I just ended up with what was close to that aesthetically. Do you understand what I mean? I even dated a guy that was, what was he? His mother was from Thailand and his father was from Sweden. So he was 50-50. But the thing is like, he didn't look, you know, like light skin like that. I don't know how to explain. Like he looked like he could be like a Filipino. Do you understand? Basically Latino. That's what he looked like. It was so funny the way we met. I don't even know if I should share that here, especially now with all of the fuck shit going on and the accusations and rumors and everything. I don't know. Maybe I will save that to the future, but let's just say that he was a gentleman, this guy. He was 2 years older than me and we went out on a real ass date. He took me to a place that was like, it was like a coffee joint that he and his friends usually go to. You know, like this was their spot. They went there often. So I don't know. And we spoke, I don't know, for like, 2-3 months or something like that. And then it just died out a little bit, you know? But it was basically me just being like, you know what? Don't be so ingrained in a specific type, you know? Just explore or whatever. You might find something that will shock you. Okay, so my storage was full. So this is take 2. What I was trying to say was that the closest that I ever came to a relationship, like a real relationship, whatever you call it, was a guy that I met for over like 2.5, almost 3 years. Like, once again, the problem here was that nobody stepped up and gave the title, basically. Do you understand? Nobody stepped up. Like we were playing house. You can call it playing house. They got the benefits of a relationship without actually having to commit. It is sad, but it is what it is, you know, that story of my life. Well, I learned from that. I really learned from that. And I was like, you know what? I need to be taking more charge, you know, because these guys, they're not, you know, so if I want something, I need to put that on the table directly and quick and all of this. Like they need to know that I'm not here to play. So I started with that approach and I'm still having that approach. I'm not gonna change that approach. Do you understand? Because we ain't got time to be, I don't know, accept him. There was a Swedish guy that I met, and this guy, I remember that we went to high school together actually, but I didn't even remember him. Like, he was very skinny back then, and he was already in a relationship with a Latina, a girl, and I don't remember him. But after like high school, long after, like we were in our 20s now, almost mid-20s, and he said, you know, like, I always had a crush on you, like I always thought this and that of you and blah blah blah, but yeah, I was too shy, and then I ended up being in a relationship and all of this stuff. And I was like, did we go to school together? And he's like, yeah, we did. And he actually showed me the photos, the catalog, and I was like, oh shit, that's you, bro. Like, I don't even remember this guy. I'm not telling you, I'm not kidding with you. Like, he was not on my radar whatsoever. And he used to tell me stories that he had like his ex, because they were in a relationship for a long time. Like, this was one of those relationships, like her family and his family was friends, they traveled together, all of it. But they ended up breaking up eventually. And he told me, what did he say? He said that, you know, she never liked you. Like, every time you passed by, she was always mean bugging you and all of this stuff. And I was like, I didn't even notice that. Can you imagine? This whole girl was hating on me. And I don't know, maybe he said that to be like nice, you know, like, I don't know. But anyhow, we went out, and I remember that I met his parents, and his parents was very like, oh, so you are the one that is making our son becoming, because he was training a lot back in the days, you know, like he was like very muscular and started to get a little bit chubby almost. And I was just like, you know, when it comes to me, I'm gonna be honest, I only cooked like for 2 people in my entire life, like with the intention of like, I'm cooking for you because I like you. And it was the first guy when I was 17, like I said, the Mozambican or whatever you would say. And it was, what was it? It was a guy from Cape Verde that I met like back in 2017 or something like that. Those are the only people that I have intentionally cooked for, you know. Everybody else, like if I ever have cooked or anything like that, is because me, myself, I was hungry, I wanted food, and you are there, so eat with me. Do you understand? Let's just put it out there. But yeah, I met his parents, and they were super cute and all of this stuff. And I will say, like, that's the big difference when it comes to dating foreigners or like Europeans. I feel like Europeans, like especially here, they are not very concerned with these rules and regulations of how long you need to be with somebody before meeting families and relatives and friends and all of this. I'm telling you, like, this guy, when I met him, I had like my birthday the week after. He showed up to my birthday, like we had like a dinner. We went to a restaurant, me and a couple of friends, and he was sitting there, and this was like week 2 or something of us talking, you know, and he was there. Do you understand? And then like a month later or something like that, all of a sudden I'm sitting in the living room, his mom, his dad is sitting there, and we're having all this, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, do you understand? Like, when it comes to foreigners, I feel like they are more like, you know what, if you're gonna meet my family like that, I am very certain about you. Like, do you understand? Like, either we're already engaged or we're about to be or something. I have bigger plans for us. It's not just, do you understand? So I don't know if you should take it as a compliment when you meet a European guy and he very, I don't know. But I'm gonna be honest, I have always felt more appreciated overseas than over here. Like, I think everybody feels that way, you know, like if you are American, black, white American, you come over to Europe, you might feel more appreciated and all of this stuff. I don't know what it is, but I felt like as soon as I was abroad, like I'm telling you, I had people proposing to me, like, gosh, always like giving you compliments, gassing you up. And I even had like, I remember when I was in New York to visit one of my aunties, and I wanted to do like a sightseeing, like a tour. You sit on this big double-decker bus and you basically see the whole city. And I remember the guys that was selling these tickets, like one of the guys, he was from Ghana. He lived in New York, but he didn't have like papers or something like that, I don't know. But we started to talk and we exchanged numbers. So I remember that he was like, yeah, I want to take you out. And I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm here, why not, you know? And this guy, I'm telling you, like, I didn't know it back then, or I didn't think about it like that. But this guy, like I said, he didn't have papers, you know? He was working this touristing job thing, you know, to make ends meet, to survive, basically. So he didn't have like a career like that, was established like that or anything, you know? But he had like, he looked good, I'm gonna be honest. And he had personality and all of this stuff. So we met up, and I'm telling you, like, it is true, like somebody said, if people really value you, if people really care and all of this stuff, there's no limits to what these people can do. Do you know what this guy did? He took me out on one of the best dates that I ever been on. Literally. Like, the whole date started that we went to, like, I think his name is Mr. Easy. Mr. Easy, I will try to link like a little video here. When do you want something, baby, trust me. It was like a free concert or something that Mr. Easy had in like, what do you call this? Grand Central Park or whatever in New York. So I didn't even know that it was free like that. I didn't know that it was gonna be Mr. Easy. We just went there, and this guy, he knew a lot of people. He had a lot of contacts because of his job, you know? And we went to this concert, and afterwards, like when it was time to eat, like me, I'm not a picky eater like that, you know? So we went to, what was it? I think it was like some kind of McDonald's, KFC, something like that. And he had like coupons or something, you know? And he was so ashamed to pay with this. And I remember that I was like, no, but I can pay. It's okay, you know? And he was like, no, sit down. He didn't want me to be there when he was gonna do the payment. And I was just like, and afterwards he followed me back to the hotel that I was staying in, didn't even try anything or anything like that. The opposite. This guy even said, like, if you want to move here, like move to the States, move to United States, move to New York, yeah, I can help you so you can get a job at this place that I'm working in and all of this stuff. Bruv, I'm telling you, this guy had zero like that. And he did all of this stuff. Do you understand? So this is the kind of effort that I'm looking for. Do you understand? Like, if this guy had nothing to his name and he still managed to, in a couple of hours, just... Okay, that was one of the best dates. The other date was with a guy that was Colombian. I know I talk a lot about Colombians, but I'm telling you, when it comes to me, like, I only had good experiences when it comes to Colombians, both women and men. Not like that, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm telling you, like, these people, bruv, like this guy that I met, this was back in 2000. Okay, let's just say like this. Let's start the whole story from the beginning. I was sick and tired of being single. Do you understand? Most of my friends were starting to get their second child. They were not even boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. They were getting into fucking marriages. Like, people were stepping up. And I was still standing there like, oh, I haven't even accomplished that yet. Do you understand? So I felt like so far behind. And I wanted that too, you know? I really wanted that too. And I was just like, what is it with me that just makes it like it doesn't work? Do you understand? Like, I'm not worse than some of these friends that I have, or worse looking, or personality, anything like that. Like, why? So I remember that I was like, no, I need to be more, not strategic, but basically like be more straightforward. So I saw like a documentary on TV. They were talking about this new app called Tinder, you know, and they interviewed some people, and we're talking about the pros and cons. And I remember this specific couple. They were here in Scandinavia. The guy lived, like, let's say here in Stockholm, and the girl lived in Malmö, like opposite, down. And they said, like, if it wasn't because of this app, they would have never met, because they don't have the same friends group, they don't go to the same clubs, the same everything, you know, but they still fancied each other and everything was good and great. But if it wasn't because of this app, they wouldn't have met, you know, because of circumstances. And I was like, you know what? I like this story. Let me just try this app, you know? And I went on this app and I put directly everything. I was like, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I don't want. Like, I shouldn't have done that, because you have a lot of narcissists on these dating apps, and they will see everything that you post and they will try to be that person, emulate that person, and just to get to you. Do you understand? And that's what I met eventually, but we will come to that. So I remember the Colombian guy was the first one that I met, and we spoke on the phone for like, I don't know, 3 hours almost. I'm not even exaggerating. We had so much in common, you know, because he was adopted. So he didn't grow up with his biological family, and he had been in the system a little bit, but kind of not, you know. And he loved to travel, and he was talking about like, if I have kids in the future, I want to be able to take my kids with me when I travel. Like, we spoke about everything. It was so tranquil with this guy. He was so down to earth. So I remember like we went out on a real first date. We went to a coffee joint, a French coffee joint. That's one of my favorites because of the design and the food and everything. And we went there, and we like the whole date, the first date lasted like 7 hours, I think. Yeah. We started off with like a coffee and something, and ended up with dinner. Do you understand? Like, he took me to a place that he used to working or something like that, and we were just sitting there vibing. I'm telling you, this was one of the best first dates. It was so relaxed and everything. But the other guy that I spoke to at the same time, because I'm dating, you know, I don't have any like, I need to be loyal towards you, anything. Like, both of them knew we dating right now, you know. And I remember that I decided to go with the other guy that said that he was from my country. And it's so pathetic when I'm thinking about it, because the thing is like, Ghana and Nigeria are close to each other, right? Do you understand? It's almost like lying about something like that. It was very petty, very unnecessary, you know. So long story short, I decided to go with him for many different reasons, because I was just like, you know what, like, we come from the same country, and he was studying to become an engineer or something like that. And I was already in my head, like, I'm not kidding with you, this is a sickness. I was already in my head starting to plan like the future. I was thinking like, because I seen like that the roads back home in our country it was potholes everywhere, like catastrophical, you know. And I always wanted to do something, you know, to help my country, to help my people, you know. And when he said that he was studying to this and he was gonna graduate very soon, I was starting, and I was like, man, we come from the same country. I was already in my head thinking, wow, we can make this happen. Like, I can actually make this dream come true, because you have like the knowledge of this and I have the ambition, and together, da, 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 da. Like, I went too far. Yeah, too early, too far. About it later on, I feel like I should have, and there's a lot of people around me that said the same thing. I should have picked the Colombian guy. And the reason why I didn't so-called pick him, it sounds weird saying pick you, but do you understand? The reason why I didn't go for him to pursue this even further was because, you know, like, I didn't think that I deserved him. If I'm gonna be really fucking honest, I think that the other guy, I was more like, you know what, we have this in common, this and that, and he was just checking off a lot of boxes that I was like, okay, this is good. And the other guy, I felt like he was like, you know, like, this is what I do want. Do you understand? Like, this is what I've been looking for, but it's like, do I deserve it? Do you understand? Like, I don't know. And I felt like the other one was more convenient, if to be honest. It's so sad. It's so sad, because if I had the chance to go back and change some stuff, I wouldn't have gone with the last guy. Because I'm telling you, like I said, with all of the stories that I have shared up to now, my dating history, my way of thinking and behaving, a lot of it have to do with early programming, you know, people that you met putting you in situations where you feel like you need to compete with an ex. It was always an ex. Like, I think I never met a guy that was like fully, like, the ex was not in the picture in some shape or form. And I was just like, my friends, my girlfriends don't have that issue. As soon as they meet a new guy, like, the bitch is out of the picture, you know? But for me, I was like, these bitches are always hanging in there, you know? And it's like, the same patterns over and over and over again. I was like, somebody must have done some witchcraft on my love life, because this is not normal. So the guy that I decided to go for, the thing is, like, I can see it now, but let me just say the red flags that was very early on that I kind of look between the fingers was that when we decided the first time to meet up, we decided, because I was like, I'm not just gonna take somebody home just like that. Do you understand? So we decided to meet at a coffee joint or something that was close to where I lived. And do you know what this guy did? You know, because here in Sweden, Europe, like your information is not is out and about. Like you can, like with a simple Google search, you can find somebody's name, mobile phone number, everything, you know. So this guy, he figured out where I lived, and I was at home, and I remember that he knocked on the door, and I was in shock because I was like, bro, are you kidding me? We decided to meet outside at a coffee joint. Why are you here right now? So I just let him in. That was red flag number one, you know, that he didn't respect my boundaries. Number two was that he said, listen to this. He said that when because most of his exes was Caucasian white girls. Do you understand? Of some shape or form. I think the first one was Persian, the second was Eastern European, Russian. And yeah, so he had his so-called type. But I remember that he said to me, like, what did he say? Like, whenever he date white girls, he makes sure that he get like the top tier. Do you understand? Like, he don't go for the bottom of the battle. And I was like, why are you telling me this? And I think like he knows that here in Europe especially, the interracial dynamic is not often very 50-50, you know, like both of them are equally attractive, both of them are equally successful. Like it's very seldom you find that. It's always something. One is lacking that and the other one is lacking that, you know? And he was basically trying to say like, I'm not one of these so-called brothers. I'm not one of these brothers that would just take anybody, anything. Do you understand? Like she needs to be of a certain caliber, you know? And yeah, like most of his exes, like they came from good families from what he told me, you know? From what he told me, they came from good families. Families like they were doctors, they had money, houses, good vacation, many times. Do you understand? Red flag number 3. Like I said, this guy was a biracial guy, okay? His mother was black and his father was white. But I remember that he was he said a couple of times that he saw the dynamic between his grandmother's interracial coupling, a relationship, and his mother's interracial relationship. And he was like, sometimes I wish that they would have picked a black man instead. You know, like their life would have been easier and all of this. And I'm like, you are the product of this. You wouldn't exist if these people didn't. Do you understand? So why are you saying this? Are you saying this to try to suck up to me because you think that this is what I'm thinking? Or I will give you some kind of, you know, like, I don't know. You guys be the judge. It was early on, he was talking about his ex. Because when I met him, like I said, he only had been single for like 6 months, you know? So he was in a 3 years relationship with his ex, and he was only single for like 6 months. And I remember that I was like, that's a little bit too early, you know? Like usually people say like, if you've been with somebody for 3 years, you should take at least 1.5 years of that to so-called heal and rewind and all of this before you're going out to the dating market again, you know? And nah, but I don't think that he was ready like that. Because when I met him, like I said, he was talking so much I knew so much about his ex. He showed me pictures of her. He said that she was a gremlin. Like, I don't know how to say this in English, but skogstroll, skogsväsen. That was the exact word, how he described her. Basically like that she was just being messy, like, you know, like, he even went as far as talking about her parents, like her family dynamic. Like, oh, when I was at their place, I remember that her parents cooked food and they put too much mayonnaise and I couldn't eat it. And I was just like disgusted over it. And I was just like, bruv, you are sitting here talking to me that you barely known for a couple of months, and you telling me about a 3-year-long relationship that you have with somebody, you spilling all the tea. Come on. The disrespect. He even told me that when he realized that he and his ex was not gonna be an official, like, you know, like this is the woman that I'm gonna settle down with, was when they went on a trip to Jamaica. And he said that for the first time, because in his friends group, he's the token black, brown guy, or whatever you call him, you know? And that's how his dynamic have been looking, you know? But now they were in Jamaica and the majority was black people. And she was now the token white girl, you know? And he said that he saw how uncomfortable she felt. She took her bag very close to herself and was like, you know, acting like these people were like thieves and just like, I don't know. Like he said that he didn't like her behavior. Like that trip to Jamaica made him realize that I can't settle down with somebody like you. Do you understand? That's what he said. I'm telling you, this guy was updating me about stories about his ex. Like, I will not share everything here because that's not the point of this video, but I will just share that I think that he was hurt by this girl. Do you understand? I think, like, you know, because I saw some pictures and I'm not gonna lie, she was beautiful. Do you understand? Most of his exes, like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm shocked, but he really catch some good ones. And the thing is, like, when you decide to go after women or girls like that, you know, then it comes with a lot. People will look at you a certain way. Why is she with you? Like, what do you have for her to wanna, do you understand? Especially if her own ethnicity, other white men, other white guys desire her as well, they're gonna be like, why is she settling for him, you know? Because they see these guys as beneath them, lower than them. I don't know if you guys have seen, but it was a video here on, I think it was Instagram. It was a white woman and her black boyfriend that was sitting in a car, and this white girl was talking about, you know, it's not an upgrade for me to be walking around being seen with you as a black man, but for you it's an upgrade to have me. But if I take you to my community, they see it like I have lowered my standard. She was trying to say this, and this black guy, he didn't understand jack shit. He was just like, oh, okay, you know? So this is the mindset that some of these people have. And he probably been put in positions that he felt like he needed to prove stuff and compete and all of this stuff, you know, from the little that I have gathered. But let's just say when they decided to break up, both of them did it very intentionally. She went to a white guy and he started to look for black girls. Like they wanted the opposite of each other. That's what it felt like. And whatever little drama they had, I ended up in the middle of that. Do you understand? They were trying to prove stuff to each other back and forth. The reason why I say that I ended up in that is I had classmates that knew about that I went out with this guy, and they were very fast to be like, you know what, be careful, because I think that this guy is trying to use you to get back at his ex. It's not my words, it's people outside that watched and saw everything that transpired. It was a specific event, like they had some kind of prom thing, university prom, whatever, you know, and she went with this white guy that she started to date, and she put pictures and everything like that. And I remember that he was at my place and he was talking about her, but he didn't use her name. Do you understand? But I knew that he was talking about her, and he was saying stuff like, yeah, it's kind of hilarious when, you know, you date somebody and they don't want to be seen out and about with you. They're very like dismissive like that, but as soon as they date somebody else that fits their aesthetic, their whatever, then all of a sudden they will be shown with them everywhere, pictures everywhere and all of this. And I knew that he was talking about his ex. I knew it. He was jealous that his ex brought this new guy to do a lot of stuff that they maybe didn't do in their relationship. Like she wasn't flaunting with him like that. I think that when he met me, he was scorned. He was hurt. He was like, he must have gone through hell and hot water when he came to this girl, you know, to try to please her and all of this stuff. I really, like, that's what I genuinely feel, you know? And the thing is, like, he was not brave enough to stand up against her and say, I don't like how you're talking to me or how you're treating me or all of this stuff, you know? So all of the frustrations that he had towards her, this is the frustration that he took out on me. Let's just say that. No, but I'm telling you, when it came to this guy, it was manipulation. It was all kinds of fuck shit that I went through with these people. I don't even know where to start, bro. He had his family, like his mother jumped into this. Oh my God. This is one of the reasons why I did this little that I wanted more structure, because it's so many things that transpired, you know. And if I'm gonna sit here and talk about all of it, it's gonna take a whole fucking day, bro. So I was trying to be like, okay, what is, you know, because it's still affecting me to this day. Apparently it's still affecting me to this day. So let's just say, like I said, I met him in 2016. It was between him and a Colombian guy. I decided to go with him because he was a countryman, he said, but he's not. And he had his ex in the picture. They were still friends on social media. They had the same friends group. They went to the same school and all of this stuff. But the thing is, like, this guy had the nerve to be on my case. I remember a specific event. I told him that, what was it? I was like, it feels like you're checking off all the boxes. I said, you know, it's almost like I don't need Tinder anymore. Like I can basically delete the app. So I still had the app, but I didn't log into it. I didn't use it. Do you understand? Because I was dating him now, or whatever you call it. We were going out or whatever. And I remember that he called me at one point and he said, oh, one of my friends saw you on Tinder, you know, and you told me this and you told me that, but you are still on Tinder. And I was like, bruh, are you kidding me? So you're gonna be upset? Number one, why do your friends know about me already? Because this was like after week 2 or week 3 of just talking. We were just talking stage. Do you understand? So how are your friends that I never met yet gonna be all, oh, she's on Tinder, blah, blah, blah. Bruh, huh? You have your whole ex on your Facebook. You guys are still friends. You go to school together, huh? And you're gonna be upset with me? Like, I don't know. This guy was phony like that. And the thing is, like, people have been trying later on now. They have been saying a lot of stuff, that I dodged the bullet when it came to him, a lot of stuff. But they have been saying that, trying to make it seem like he was on the spectrum of some sort, like he was autistic maybe. And I was just like, you know what? No. You guys need to learn the difference with autism and narcissism. Do you understand? You really need to learn the difference, because they are two separate beings, two separate everything. Do you understand? This guy, I don't care what anybody say, he was not autistic. Do you understand? He was narcissistic. Do you understand? Because think about it. Me, myself, I have a diagnosis called ADHD. I got the diagnosis when I was 14. I have known since I was 14 that I had it. And when he and I spoke, we spoke about most stuff. Do you understand? I put basically the cards on the table directly, you know? I'm not here to play around. And I told him, like, yeah, I have ADHD. So I mean, like, if he was on the spectrum, wouldn't that be a perfect time to be like, oh, if she's open enough to share that she's on the spectrum and have ADHD, then I should maybe share that I have autism or something. Many times he had the opportunity, but he didn't. It's now later on that this is coming forward. Why? Maybe because he got caught doing something that he was not supposed to do. And they're trying to make it seem like, oh, he's not aware, his brain is not totally there, and all of this stuff. It's like, no. You are narcissistic, my friend. You are not autistic. Learn the difference. I'm telling you, these people, they gang stalked me, they bullied me, they harassed me, social media, everything like that. Like, most of his friends right now, if you go on Instagram, on social media, all of them are private. All of them are private. It's just like 1 or 2 that still has open accounts. But most of them have gone private. And do you know why? Because the shit that they were posting, if people that are invested in all of this now will go to their pages and scroll down to that specific time, if they haven't deleted the pictures or the content, you would see that, man, these people were on her case. Huh? You had one of his friends' girlfriend that was trying to make it seem like I was bipolar. Do you understand? And you had his ex that was putting up pictures, like as soon as he and I stopped talking, she put up pictures with like an engagement ring, you know? And this was like back in 2017 or something like that, pretending to be engaged. Do you understand? Liking his pictures back and forth, from being like not in the pictures whatsoever to now all of a sudden being there, commenting, liking, and just being messy. Do you understand? It was a lot of like cyber stalking, cyber bullying that kept on happening for so long with these people. And when I finally decided to react, because I'm one person, and you get exhausted eventually. Then all of a sudden that I'm the evil Knievel. Like, I'm not kidding with you. Like, even his mother, like, I want to ask you guys that have been dating people and you have not been exclusive, like a relationship official like that. Have you ever had a problem with somebody's parents already in the talking stage? Like, you have somebody's parents jumped into your little situationship. Is that normal? This is a genuine question that I want to ask people, because this is what happened to me. Like, his mother, oh my goodness gracious, this woman up to this day, we have never met. She has never seen me in real life. And do you know why? Like, I gave her the opportunity, because I was back in Canada. And I heard a lot of fuck shit that was happening down here in Sweden. I heard a lot of fuck shit, that people were talking shit, mad shit about me, and everything was pointing back to this family, to this specific guy. So when I came back to Sweden, I was like, I want to solve this, of course. And I didn't have a phone or anything like that. So I went straight to their place where they lived. Funny story about that, it was almost like the whole village knew what I was about to do. The bus driver, he didn't even stop at the bus station. He drove closer to where they live, to the door. They're like, do you understand? Like, almost like, get him, girl, get him. Like, we know what's gonna go down. We know, we've been waiting for this as well. I went to this lady, I'm not kidding with you. And I said, let her come down, because I heard that she had been talking mad shit about me, and now I'm standing here and she can talk. You know, everything that she has to say it to my face or don't say it at all. What happened? No, she's too busy. She's working upstairs and all of this stuff. So the one that came down was his stepfather and his baby sister, little sister. That's the person that came down. And I'm just like, wow. Huh? I said to them, if she don't have the balls or vagina or uterus or whatever to come down and talk to me, but she can be online talking smack shit, you know, this and that, it's her fault, she did that, then it's like, you know what, you guys don't even listen to what she has to say. She's just looking for attention. She's just trying to stay relevant to get her business up and going or whatever, something. Do you understand? Oh my goodness gracious. I gave her a second chance. I actually called her at one point, because I was like, nah, because now it was coming accusations as like, imagine I'm in Norway. It's a whole nother country, you know? It's the neighborhood country. And I'm at this gaming place or whatever. And all of a sudden, this random man is talking about that I might be a cannibalist, a cannibal, you know? Talking about that, oh, so you like to bite men. You like to bite young men and all of this stuff. And then hearing about that somebody killed a dog or hurt a dog, like a dog got, like something happened to a dog. And all of these, do you understand? Is this family? Do you understand? Like, I'm not kidding with you. Like, it must be like divine help or something. But I was like, okay, have I ever met somebody that I like bite like that? And I was like, this guy, like, we were like, I don't know, fuck buddies, cuddle buddies, whatever you would call it. We were having our fun or whatever. You know, if I ever beat him, it was just like, you know, like little like that, just for fun. Do you understand? Not to be like, oh, I'm gonna hurt you. Like, oh, you kidding me? And this guy apparently went and ran with that and made it seem like I was a fucking cannibal. I was like, wow, how is somebody able to, oh my goodness gracious. And then the dog, I never even met his fucking dog. I just saw a long time ago that he had like a picture of a dog. Like a, you know, like this Dalmatine or whatever their name is, you know, they have dots, you know? So apparently something happened to their dog. And I'm like, how is that my issue? I live in fucking the States almost. Like, I was over there, minding my business, working and all of this stuff. And whatever transpired here, Jesus Christ, these people, oh my God. So you understand the frustration, you know? I keep hearing people talking about that I might be a cannibal, that I bet somebody, that somebody's dog got killed, and somebody got jumped, and one more. a lot of different accusations. People were asking me if I like children. I remember when I was in Canada, this specific guy, he was like, do you like children? And for me back then, I didn't know fuck shit anything, so I was like, what is he talking about? So I was like if children like me, I like them, of course, you know. But I was at that age, I was like, maybe I'm not in a position to have a child right now. Do you understand? But and he was like, oh, that's a very diplomatic answer. I'm like, it's not a diplomatic anything, it's the honest truth. Why are you asking me this question? Do you understand? Oh my goodness gracious, bro. I'm telling you, this family, I spoke to the mother on the phone and I tried to talk to her about all of this, you know, and you could hear that she was recording the conversation in some shape or form, because, you know, people are very like cautious with their words then. Do you understand? And when they grab something from you, you say something, they would twist and turn that and make it seem like it's this big old elephant almost. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I'm gonna let her know. Like, I think you and your whole fucking family is a bunch of tricksters. It's a bunch of liars, bunch of deceivers. That's what I think you guys are. And I said to her, do you have anything to tell me? Do you have anything that you want to say to me? Now you have the chance. She didn't say anything. Word on my dead mother. I swear on her grave. If I'm lying right now, let something happen. Do you understand? Let something happen to me. This lady, I gave her the opportunity on the phone. Do you understand? I said, if you have any issues with me, now is the perfect time to say, has something happened? Do you understand? She was dead quiet. And the thing is, like, I hear afterwards people saying that she's talking mad shit. Like, I'm telling you, like, I had different type of acquaintances and friends growing up, and it was a specific man, West African as well. Because, you know, that city is a small city. Everybody knows each other more or less. And he basically told me, like, don't even worry. We, the African community, we know the truth. You know, this lady, she's trying to make it seem like you are the total problem, that her son didn't have anything to do with this. Her son is innocent and perfect and saint-like. Do you understand? But he was like, don't even stress it. Like, she may fool the other communities, but when it comes to us, we know the truth. Do you understand? And even fucking an uncle that I have, that I grew up with, like an uncle, like, she knows him in some shape or form. Do you understand? He even told me that she used to go back to the motherland to do witchcraft. Do you understand? Bruv, this family, witchcraft. Huh? Are you kidding me? Oh. It was a lot of fuck shit that went down when it came to this guy. It was a lot of fuck shit. It was not only the ex problem and that he cheated, and some people will be like, but you guys was not even official like that. You were like fuck buddies. Like, why would you care if somebody have sex with somebody else? Listen to this. This guy proposed to me. He denies it now, and he denies it in front of his friends, because then it would just change the whole trajectory. Do you understand? He proposed to me. This is exactly how it went down. We were talking on the phone. He texted me first. He was like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay. And I called him. He called me. And we spoke, and he said, you know, in our tradition, you know, you get engaged, and during the engagement, you get to know each other, and then you get married, and da-da-da-da. So he was trying to propose to me through the phone. He was trying to propose to me through the phone, and I was like, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. Like, because we had a conversation about relationship. Like I said, I'm not here to trick anybody. He knew what the deal was. I put the cards on the table directly. Do you understand? I'm not here to be fucking around. Like, I want something more. I'm dating with a purpose. He knew it. So I don't know if this was his way of just being like, okay, like, let's get engaged then, you know, like, so I can keep this little whatever thing we have going on or whatever. I don't know, bruh. But when you talk to him, he's trying to deny it. And I'm telling you, this was like after 3 months or something of us meeting. So this is the same guy that people are now being like, but if he had sex with somebody else, why would that concern you? Like, why would you be hurt of that? And it's like, bruv, are you kidding me? This is the same guy that wanted to skip over the boyfriend girlfriend phase and just jump into fucking engagement, and then go and have sex with a random person, don't even go to the doctors and check himself if he catch anything, and then come to my ass. And you're gonna be like, but you guys was not exclusive like that. Do you understand why I reacted like I reacted now? Huh? How this guy was high and low. High and low. I don't want this, but I can do that. Huh? We try this. Da 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 da. Like, oh. I'm telling you, it was something that was not correct with this guy. And it was not autism. It was psychologically something else that was not okay with this guy. And the thing is, like, and this shit keeps fucking, new stuff keep coming up about this whole fucking family, you know, like, oh my goodness gracious. When I'm saying that my life did 180 after I met this guy, and it was like for the worse. It was like I said, like, when this was in Stockholm, I was in a store, random store. I was gonna buy like something, I don't know. And this random man is talking about, you will find love too, okay? You will also find love. Out of the blue, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not putting extra anything. This is exactly, I'm just standing there and this random man is saying, you will also find love. And I'm like, bruv, why are you even saying that? What happened? Have I said something? Like, what? Huh? All of this has to do with this person. Do you understand? And the thing is, like, at that point, like I said, I moved to another city to study. So I didn't even live in the same city as this guy anymore. And I already tried to date another guy. This guy was from Togo or something like that. And he had a daughter. I remember his daughter was like maybe 5 at that point or something. I don't know. But so he and I went out. So I was just like, why are these people, like, they are trying to make it seem like I was stuck on this guy from my old town. Do you understand? Like, this was the trajectory, like what the family was trying to portray to the outside world. Oh, she's obsessed with us. She's stalking us. She's on her case. She's this, she's that. And it's like, bruv, I literally moved to another city to study, and eventually I moved to another country. But when I was in that new city, I dated another guy. Do you understand? I moved on with my life. And I'm like, and at the same time, people are like, oh no, but she's after us. She's in our business. And I'm like, bro, these people are fame thirsty. Do you understand? I don't even know what more to say when it comes to this whole thing, but I'm just saying, like, this whole family, bro, they have been lying and spewing so much nonsense and hate. And I keep hearing that, you know, somebody hacked my phone and this and that, and everything is going back to him. Can you imagine that even his own wife, like, when I met these people, I met them, I literally met them. We were sitting at the porch, me and his fiance back then. We were sitting for like over 40 minutes and talking, she and I. No violence, no hate, no screaming, no nothing like that. We were talking for 40 minutes. And do you know what she said to me? She said that he don't have any respect for women. And I was like, girl, I hear what you're saying, but I see the ring on your finger as well. Like, I don't know what to add. Like, I'm telling you, like, this, when I met this guy, like I said, it was insecurities from both ends. I'm not gonna say that I was perfect in any shape or form. You know, I had been burned a lot before, like I said, and I had guys that I dated now date my friends, and, you know, all of this stuff. Like, it happens a lot. So when you go through some of these events, you are a little bit more cautious, you know, you wanna be like, you wanna be ready. Do you understand? So when I met him, of course, I'm gonna be honest, like, I was not having it. The sun is looking out or showing out in the last minute. So when I edit these videos, it's gonna look all over the place. But anyhow, what I wanted to add when it comes to this was that this guy, he made me lose my hope in love. Like, of course, I met guys that was catastrophical before him as well. And I gone through hell and hot water with them as well. But I feel like the difference with them and this guy was that This guy was so intentionally, like, you know, like you are used to having female acquaintances, female friends that are very like manipulative and tactical in their whole behavior like that. But meeting a guy that has the same mindset, but almost like, he has extended to like a whole nother level, you know? You get shocked because you're like, I never met somebody like this before. Like, I don't even know how to deal with you, talk with you, act, or anything like that. It was, I'm telling you, a lot of people keep throwing the word narcissist back and forth. But when it comes to this guy, after this guy, that's when I actually knew what narcissism was. I didn't know before him, but afterwards I debunked it. And I'm telling you, whatever I went through, the smear campaign, the gaslighting, all of it, yes, this is what I went through. And I just want to say, like, my whole trajectory, like how I view love and all of this stuff, I am so cautious after meeting this guy, after going through what I went through with him. Because like I said, unlike the other guys, he was very intentional with his disrespect. It's not the first time that I have been overlooked or somebody have so-called cheated on me or anything like that. And I have moved on fast, you know? I have moved on fast, and we have been able to see each other in town and, you know, maybe not say hi, but being cordial or whatever. But when it comes to this guy, like, it is on a whole nother level. I can't even explain it. And it's like a snowball effect. It's still like you're getting affected by it to this day. Do you understand? It's, And I would just like to add, this woman, when you guys were attacking me, you know, especially on social media, most of this stuff is gone now. You have deleted your stuff, your accounts and everything like that. You have gone private. So a lot of people won't find it. But between you and I, we know that you guys was disrespecting the hell out of me. That you went in a group of flying monkeys or whatever you call it, and you decided to make my life miserable. I want to tell you guys, because she often talks about her son being this age, being that age. It's 1.5 years between me and your son. 1.5 years to be precise. Do you understand? And what I'm trying to say with that is that when you guys were attacking me and all of this stuff, you were talking to me like I was like your equal or something like that. Just remember, I have nobody in my corner backing me up like that. Do you understand? This guy, he had not only you as a mother, he had his sisters, he had exes, he had friends, girlfriends. All of these people were jumping on board, calling me all kinds of stuff, calling me a witch, making fun of my ears because they're pointy, putting out fake content, you know, trying to make it seem like he was married when he was not married at that time. Do you understand? And just like, oh, our life was so, you know, just being fucked up. You guys was fucked up. And I am one person. Do you understand? You guys are a whole team. You guys are a whole team. And now, from the little I have gathered, you guys are crying wolf. Oh, poor me. I'm getting attacked. I'm getting this. I'm getting that. You know what? That is what you call karma. Because you guys ganged upon me. You guys was plentiful, and you ganged up on me in real life and on social media. And now you're getting a little taste of that back. Congratulations. How you made your bed is how you're gonna lay in it. That's all I have to say. That's really all I have to say, because I'm just like, oh, the disrespect, huh? I'm telling you, for being a situationship, I feel like it's so weird that the family and relatives, grandmother and everybody was so invested in this, you know? But for you guys that know the behind the scenes, they knew something. They told this guy about it, and he pursued me after the information about that. Let's just say that this so-called dating situationship we had was very intentional from their part. Was it for money? I don't know. Was it for clout? I don't know. Was it to try to stay relevant? I don't know. Was it for whatever other reason? I don't know. But it was something else that wasn't love. That's guaranteed. That is guaranteed. Storage is literally full. So I need to keep this down. So let's just round this up a little bit, okay? So what have I learned when it comes to love and my experiences? What have I learned? I have learned, number one, go for what you think you don't deserve. I really mean it. Like when it comes to people like me, like when you look at somebody and you just like, oh God, I don't even have my shit figured out, this and that. Da, 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 da. Just go for what you don't think you deserve, because most of the time you do fucking deserve that, if not better. Don't tell too much about yourself in the beginning. Like, do not do that. Especially like if you are unlucky like me and you meet a narcissist, they will use that against you times 100, bruh. So basically just trying to small information. Use their tactic, breadcrumb them, basically. And number 3, keep being stern, assertive, and stand on business. Stand on what works for you. Basically, that's what I'm gonna keep doing. Like, I have been doing it for the last, I would say, almost 10 years, and I will keep being like that. Because, yeah, I know I'm a good person, you know. The heart is on the right side and all of this stuff. Like, I know that I have a lot of love to give. Do you understand? And I know what I can do for a partner and all of this stuff. So me expecting some of this bare minimum stuff is, do you understand? If you can't step up, step back down. Step off.